Welcome to Skytech-Lens. North America is undergoing a seismic economic shift, and Canada is at the center of it. For years, Canada adapted to US trade pressures, but now it's charting its own course. 18 major projects in mining, energy, and infrastructure are being fast-tracked to build a self-reliant future. Canada's no longer content to follow, it's aiming to lead, especially in green energy and technology. The question, is the US losing its economic dominance over Canada for good? Let's break down the 7 seismic shifts transforming Canada's economic future. In an effort to gain leverage, the US imposed sweeping tariffs on Canadian steel, aluminum, and lumber, believing that economic pressure would force Canada to quickly concede to American demands. The move was bold, and US officials expected Canada to fall in line given the deep economic ties between the two countries, but instead of backing down, Canadians rallied together. The tariffs ignited a powerful movement for economic sovereignty, uniting citizens, businesses, and politicians across the country in a rare show of solidarity. The sudden trade restrictions exposed just how vulnerable Canada was by relying so heavily on a single trade partner. Factories slowed, workers worried about their jobs, and the nation faced a stark reality. In response, the Canadian government acted swiftly, fast-tracking 18 critical infrastructure projects. These initiatives aim to strengthen the country's resilience and reduce its dependence on US trade. Major ports on both coasts were modernized, pipelines were reimagined to reach new markets, and Canadian diplomats began actively seeking out new trade partners around the world. Canada deepened its relationships with the European Union and Asian economies, making the CPTPP a cornerstone of its new global trade strategy. These partnerships opened doors to billions of new consumers. The psychological impact was profound. For the first time in generations, Canadians saw themselves not as an economic branch office of the US, but as leaders of a truly independent economy. The US strategy had backfired, fueling a renewed drive for Canadian independence and self-determination in economic affairs. Massive investments in infrastructure gained widespread public support, accelerating projects that might otherwise have taken decades to complete. Communities rallied behind the vision of a stronger, more self-reliant Canada. Canadian entrepreneurs and business leaders embraced this new mindset, determined to thrive without being at the mercy of US policy decisions. The result? A more balanced, diversified, and confident Canadian economy, with new opportunities emerging across technology, agriculture, and shipping. Ironically, the US had inadvertently pushed Canada to pursue true economic independence, forcing it to look beyond its southern neighbor for growth. Today, this shift is not only transforming Canada, but also reshaping the economic landscape of the entire continent. For decades, Canada's energy resources, oil, gas, and more, flowed almost exclusively south, following a well-worn path into the United States. Canadian producers were deeply dependent on US refineries, pipelines, and, crucially, American political decisions that could change overnight. The cancellation of the Keystone XL pipeline was a wake-up call, exposing just how vulnerable Canada was to US policy shifts and environmental debates. In response, Canada launched a bold strategy, building its own infrastructure. The Trans Mountain expansion now triples pipeline capacity, sending Alberta oil directly to the Pacific coast, opening a gateway to Asian markets. At the same time, the LNG Canada terminal, one of the largest energy projects in the country's history, creates a new route for natural gas exports, connecting Canada to customers in Japan, South Korea, and beyond. This new approach is about more than just pipelines. It's about Canadian workers, engineers, and innovators taking charge of their own resources, determined to bypass US bottlenecks and restrictions. Now, oil and gas are loaded onto ships at Canadian ports, ready to be sold to the highest bidder on the global market. Not just to the US, but Canada isn't stopping at fossil fuels. The country is investing billions in renewables, wind farms sweeping across the prairies, solar installations lighting up Ontario, and massive hydroelectric projects harnessing the power of rivers. The goal is clear: diversify energy sources, export more, and build a sustainable future. Canadian engineers are also pioneering green technology, from advanced batteries to electric vehicles, aiming to lead the world in clean energy innovation. Advanced grid systems and large-scale storage solutions are being deployed to ensure a stable, reliable, and clean energy supply for decades to come. This sweeping overhaul is about sovereignty, making energy decisions in Ottawa, not Washington, and putting Canada's interests first. By reducing reliance on U.S. infrastructure, Canada is asserting control over its energy destiny and shaping its own economic future. It's a bold, expensive move, one that fundamentally shifts the energy dynamics of North America and redefines Canada's role on the continent. Today, Canada stands as a true global energy player, no longer just a supplier to its southern neighbor, but a nation with reach and influence on the world stage. The balance of power is shifting, and Canada is charting a new course for its energy future, one that's independent, innovative, and global. The world runs on critical minerals: lithium, cobalt, nickel, and rare earths. Canada is racing to become a global supplier, challenging China's dominance. The government is fast-tracking mining permits and investing in processing, not just extraction. The aim, a full supply chain, from mine to finished product, on Canadian soil. This secures ethical, reliable minerals for North American and European industries. Sustainable mining practices and clean energy are central, appealing to ESG-focused investors. The U.S. needs these minerals for its EV push. Canada becomes indispensable. Automakers and battery giants are investing directly in Canadian projects. Canada's leverage grows, attracting high-value manufacturing and R&D. The mining boom is a strategic bet on the irreversible shift to clean energy and tech. Canada is building the foundation for a new economy. This is one of the most significant global power plays in minerals today. Ports and logistics are the backbone of trade, and Canada is transforming them into strategic assets. Billions are being invested in expanding and modernizing ports like Vancouver, Prince Rupert, and Halifax. Automation and digital platforms streamline operations, cutting congestion and transit times. Green port technology, like shore power, reduces emissions and attracts eco-conscious shippers. Prince Rupert's proximity to Asia gives Canada a major edge, saving days on shipping routes. Upgraded rail links connect ports to the continent's heartland, offering a compelling alternative to U.S. routes. Canada is marketing itself as the efficient, reliable logistics hub for North America. These upgrades enable exports of oil, LNG, grain, and minerals to reach global markets swiftly. The integrated system boosts efficiency and independence. By reducing reliance on U.S. logistics, Canada strengthens its global trade position. Ports are the silent game changer, supporting Canada's new economic reality. The world is taking notice. Canada is betting big on green energy, aiming to lead the global clean transition. The country is setting ambitious targets to cut emissions and transform its energy landscape, signaling a new era for its economy and environment. With abundant wind, solar, and hydro resources, the country is rapidly expanding renewables. From the Atlantic to the Pacific, new projects are coming online, harnessing nature's power to fuel homes, businesses, and industries. Government incentives and falling tech costs are driving a boom in wind and solar, even in oil-rich Alberta. Provinces once known for fossil fuels are now embracing clean energy, creating new opportunities for workers and communities. Billions in public and private investment are flowing into green hydrogen, battery storage, and clean tech. Research labs and startups are innovating, while large-scale projects promise to reshape the energy grid for decades to come. Canada's goal: export clean power and technology, not just use it domestically. The nation is positioning itself as a global supplier of renewable solutions, from advanced batteries to smart grid systems. High-voltage lines could soon send Canadian hydropower to the U.S., while green hydrogen targets Europe. These international partnerships are opening new markets and strengthening Canada's role in the global energy transition. This strategy positions Canada as a solution to global climate challenges. By sharing its expertise and resources, Canada is helping other nations meet their climate goals and reduce reliance on fossil fuels. Clean energy powers new mines, ports, and manufacturing, creating a self-reinforcing cycle. As industries decarbonize, they become more competitive, attracting further investment and innovation. The green push attracts investment and jobs, giving Canada new economic influence. Skilled workers are finding opportunities in emerging sectors, while international investors see Canada as a safe bet for the future. It's a shift from fossil fuel exporter to sustainable power leader. This transition is redefining Canada's identity on the world stage, as it moves toward a cleaner, more resilient economy. Canada is building for an electric future, ensuring long-term prosperity. Investments in education and infrastructure are preparing the next generation to thrive in a low-carbon world. The world is watching Canada's green transformation, as it sets a powerful example for others to follow. Canada's economy is only as strong as its infrastructure, and a massive overhaul is underway. The Gordie Howe International Bridge symbolizes this new era, Canadian-led streamlining trade on Canadian terms. Billions are being invested in highways, railways, and digital networks nationwide. The goal: eliminate bottlenecks and connect production centers to ports and borders efficiently. Railways are expanding, linking resource-rich regions to both coasts. High-speed internet is reaching rural and remote communities, enabling digital participation everywhere. This integrated approach amplifies the benefits of mining, ports, and manufacturing investments. Infrastructure is the glue holding Canada's economic strategy together. Reliable roads, rails, and digital networks make Canada more attractive for business and investment. The Overhaul signals confidence in the future and readiness for global competition. Canada is building a resilient, world-class backbone for sustained growth. The foundation for a new economic era is being laid. Canada's trade policy is shifting from US-centric to truly global. Recent shocks revealed the risks of overdependence on one partner. Canada now boasts free trade agreements with all other G7 nations. CETA opens the EU's vast market. CPTPP connects Canada to Asia-Pacific powerhouses. The pivot is strategic, building deep ties with dynamic economies and reducing US reliance. Government programs help businesses access new markets, turning agreements into real exports and jobs. LNG exports to Asia showcase this diversification in action. Canada is attracting foreign investment as a North American hub with global reach. New pipelines, ports, and infrastructure enable this outward push. Trade agreements are the legal gateways. Infrastructure is the physical means. Canada is methodically building a web of global trade relationships. The result: a more resilient, independent, and influential player in the world economy. Canada's bold moves are rewriting North America's economic script. Fast-tracked projects in energy, mining, and infrastructure are building a more independent, resilient nation. The US now faces a neighbor that's both a partner and a formidable competitor. These 7 shifts could permanently alter the continent's balance of power. What do you think? Is Canada's strategy a game changer or a risky gamble? Share your thoughts below. Let's get the conversation started. Thanks for watching a video. Subscribe to the channel Skytech-Lens for more updates.